Okay, we are going to be solving systems of equations with elimination, but they also may need you to multiply by a number. Okay, the steps. You're going to see your equation, and you're going to need to determine, let's say it's 2x and 3y. Or 2x and 3x, pardon me. You're going to need to determine what it is that you need to multiply the equations by to make that variable disappear, eliminate. Okay, it's kind of like finding a common denominator. So between 2 and 3, the common denominator is 6. So you multiply by whatever made that become 6. Okay, you'll see when I do an example, but these are the steps. You're going to multiply each equation by a number that makes one of the variables cancel out or eliminate itself. You're going to add the equations together to eliminate this variable. After that, you're going to solve for the remaining variable. One variable will be left and you'll solve for it. Then you'll substitute that answer back into one of the equations to solve for the other variable. Okay, now this is example number 1. The original equation, if you can see how I wrote over everything, the original equation is 2a plus 6b equals 4 and 3a minus 7b equals 6. Now, it doesn't really matter which one of these variables you decide you want to eliminate, whether it's the a or it's the b. I usually do the one that you don't need to multiply as much by, or you don't need to make a bigger number with. So 6 and 7, I'd have to multiply this by 7 and this by 6, and it just makes everything larger. So I chose to eliminate the a. So between 2 and 3, the common denominator is 6. So what I want to do is multiply 2 by something that makes it 6, and 3 by a number that makes it 6. Now one of these is negative, so that they do eliminate. One of these variables needs to be positive and one of them needs to be negative. Now, if you chose to do the b here, you would not need to multiply by a negative number. The common denominator between 7 and 6 is 42. So you would multiply the 6 by 7 and the 7 by 6. And since one is positive and one is negative, you wouldn't need to do anything else. It would just cancel out. All right, now, so when I multiply this through by 3, the thing that you have to be careful of is that you multiply the entire equation through by 3 so that it's still equivalent. You still have an equation that's equal to this one but simplified. So 3 times 2a is 6a, 3 times 6 is 18b, 3 times 4 is 12. I come down here, I do the same thing with this one. Negative 2 times 3a, negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14, negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Now, what ends up happening here is my 6a's eliminate each other, and 18b plus 14b is 32b. Now, this actually ended up being pretty easy because 12 and negative 12 are 0, and 0 divided by anything is 0. So you made your life easy on that one. Now, we're going to take and put 0 in for the variable b and solve for the a. So 2a plus 6 times 0 equals 4. That's 0. So 2a equals 4 divided by 2. So a is 2 and b is 0. You write your answer alphabetically. You write the 2 first and then the b, 2, 0. All right, now let's come over here to this one. We had x plus 2y equals 6 and 5x plus 3y equals 2. We could have done the same. You see this 2 and 3? We could have done the same thing that we did here. We could have multiplied one of them by 3 and the other one by negative 2, but it's actually simpler to eliminate the x. If I multiply this one by negative 5, then it immediately eliminates with this one. So we take and we multiply the entire equation through by negative 5. We get this. Then we add them together. We get negative 7y equals negative 28 when we put this together, and then we divide by negative 7. That gives us 4. We substitute back into an original equation. That gives me x plus 8 equals 6. Then I subtract the 8, and that gives me x is negative 2. So x is negative 2 and y is 4. Be careful. You're going to want to write, since you solve for y first, you're gonna wanna write that one first. That's just how our brain works. But remember, we want to go alphabetically. So when we're writing our solution, we write -2, 4. Same thing on this one. We are multiplying, the common denominator between 5 and 4 is 20. So we multiply this one by 4, this one by -5. That gives me 20x plus 16y equals 36. A common mistake students make is they multiply this part by the 4 and they forget the number, the constant on the end. So be very, very careful about that. That gives me -20x, -25y equals -45. Add these together, the x's cancel out. Now, if something doesn't drop or go away, then you've done something wrong. You need to go back and make sure that you've done it correctly. Usually you just forgot to multiply one of them by something to make it negative. All right, so this is -9y equals -9. That gives me y is 1. Come down, substitute into the original equation. 5x plus 4, subtract the 4, 5x equals 5. So this one was 1, 1. Now, I didn't do this example because I didn't think my students needed it, so I'm gonna go on. All right, and the only reason I'm not gonna do these, solve these all the way through, but I want you to be aware that when you're looking at an equation, they don't always write x underneath x and y underneath y. Be very, very careful about that and just rearrange the equations. See how this one's x plus 3y? All I needed to do is take and keep the, when you rearrange the second one, because it's the one that's out of order, you be sure you keep your x underneath your x and your y underneath your y, and keep the signs the same. This is a positive x, you write positive x. -3y, you write -3y. Now, if you see, that would cancel out, and this one will be quite easily done. And we have B and C and number. We need to go B and C and number here. So just rearrange it and then go through the motions of doing whatever you need to do to cancel out one of the variables. All right. And same thing on this one. It needed to be rearranged. This one really was a mess. Not only did you have to rearrange it, see how these were all on the same side? Now just rearranged on the same side. This one, no. I've got x equals 5 minus 9y. This one, honestly, might have been easier to do with substitution. But since this lesson is over elimination, we're going to move this over here, the 9y. So when I do, remember, if it changes sides, it changes signs. This becomes x plus 9y equals 5, and then 4x plus 9y equals -7. Okay, my projector's overheating. I probably need to check something. All right, but anyway, this cancels. You get 3x equals -12, x equals -4, so I've got -4 for the x. Substitute back in, and I honestly went into this one, arranged the way that it was, just to be sure I didn't do anything wrong, and I get 1 for that one. All right, thank you so much.